go. All
Okay.
right. So this is it was it's the Wednesday, May 28th, 2025 Shutesbury Cemetery Commissioners meeting, postponed from last Wednesday because there was a problem with me posting it.
We
And
don't have to say that.
well, it's true. And attendance is Susan Milligan and Walter Tibbetts. Dina Standard is not here right at the moment and may be joining us later.
Mhm.
We may also be getting a guest coming in sometime during the meeting, which will fall under new business
Okay.
B, which is a person possibly interested in being the groundskeeper for the Pratt Corner Road Cemetery.
Oh, neat. Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so I guess we start going down the agenda, review and approve minutes of the April 16th, 2025 meeting. Try.
So
Yeah,
basically, we started at 6:15. Is that right?
yes, 6:15. Sorry, yes.
Okay.
Got to mention that. Um,
Okay.
okay. I went through the minutes. I did not see anything. Let's see. Okay, there was something in red as a question about repairing the field along Leverett Road that got damaged during the turkey trot. That was correct. That's what I was going to be talking to him about.
Okay, good.
And let's see, there was one other thing under new business C, motion made, seconded to unanimously pass to grant Walter Tibbetts the money he needed for small parts and materials needed for proper maintenance and to have our own, oh yeah, purchase some equipment, basically tape measure and actually got a few things. Um,
So,
Basically, it was a tape measure and equipment for measuring out um, plots for laying out plots and graves.
okay.
And I did do all that. I don't have in front of me the list of what I bought, but there was a number of things. Basically, like there was a 300-foot tape. I bought a 25 or 30-foot tape, smaller tape. Um, all a string line, which you use going between stakes, so you can, do lines, visible lines to help lay out things. I did get another set of ear protectors for mowing. Um, and I think there's a couple. Oh, I got things like WD-40, starter fluid, carburetor cleaner, maintenance stuff. Um, the thing I did forget to get, and I see it in the minutes here, was a small sledgehammer, but still got a little bit of time. So, but other than that, yes, I think that the minutes are accurate, and I'll make a motion to accept them as printed.
Okay, so hang on just a sec before you do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Or I guess I second the motion, then I
Yeah.
can,
Now we can have discussion. Sure.
yeah, so
Okay.
second the motion.
All right. We have a
Okay, so,
motion.
can I just add there after and the materials needed for proper maintenance?
Yep.
And to,
So
proper,
yeah,
uh,
let's see, small parts and materials needed for proper maintenance and tools, I guess you could say, because they are tools
okay,
for laying out and marking out graves.
okay, okay. Laying out and marking.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay,
Grave sites and headstones and things like that.
okay. I'll just leave it at grades.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Okay, for laying out. I didn't spell it right. Okay, got it. And tools for laying out and marking graves, period. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, so anything else you see that we need to?
Nope, I just had
Right.
those two passages in red and you cleared those both up.
Okay, all right,
Obviously, I'll take out the color of what for each of us, what each of us were doing.
right, sure.
I didn't have the precise date of Janice Gray's burial, but I can look that up.
Hmm, yeah, I don't, like offhand, I don't
Okay, I'll
have
just
it
get
either.
that. I'll just
Well, hold on, let me see. Let's see if I put it in my schedule calendar. Hmm,
screw.
hmm. No, I don't think I put it in there.
I'll just put it in red and then I'll correct it.
Okay. No, that was a different one that was supposed to happen that didn't happen. Okay. All right, so I guess we need to vote on the motion to accept the minutes, so I will vote yes. And Susan?
Yes.
Okay. We officially did the roll call vote, and that passes. Okay. Number 2, new burials, lot sales, and monument installations. Um, there's been a few things happening. Um, there's, I think there's 2 headstone installations pending. They've been ordered and, talked to the people in the company, but there's no date on installation yet.
Okay. So
And
everything's done
one of,
except the actual installation date and installation.
right, and one of them is for Carol Oral and her husband's, um, the one that just bought the lot last month.
Right.
And it's Orrell is her last name.
Okay. I spelled it right.
Okay, yep. Yes, you did. There it is. Um, so she's got a headstone on order, and there was another one. Oh, can't think of it right now, but there was another one that is pending for installation. Um, we were going to have a burial last Saturday, but it was a cremational burial. And that was Carol Oral burying her husband, but she decided very kind of close to the last minute, like a week before, that she was not going to bury him. They had a memorial service at the cemetery, at their lot, but she did not have a burial. She's going to keep his remains with her and they'll both be buried at the same time when she passes
Oh,
away.
okay. Okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's the first time they ever did a graveside memorial service without having any kind of burial.
Okay.
Hey, we're an equal opportunity cemetery.
I guess so.
And I did just get a call, or I got the message just before we started the meeting of a cremational burial. I'm not sure the date yet. He said that this Saturday, so I don't know if he means like in 3 days, or he said this next Saturday. So I don't know if he means the next coming Saturday or a week from Saturday. I've got to call him back and find out. So,
Well, hopefully not this Saturday at least, because it looks like
yeah,
town meeting is going to go on forever.
yeah, yes. I looked at 43, something like that, warrant articles. So, a
Yeah.
long day.
Yep.
Okay, and I think that's all I have for burials, lot sales, and monument installations.
Okay, so oh wait, let me get out of the minutes. I was given the assignment to find out from Patrick Callahan whether
Yep,
Janice left instructions. And
right.
I talked to Patrick and he said Janice hadn't left instructions. And he and Rosemary are talking about it. And he figures it's going to take them a while to come to a conclusion, but he suspects they're going to have a small natural stone with
Okay,
this room to inscribe Janice's name and dates.
sure.
Okay.
Okay. That kind
Well,
of fits in with what she was doing, so that sounds
yeah,
reasonable.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Let's see one thing I didn't do for May. Okay, so I guess that's it for that. Moving on. CPA grant and gravestone restoration project update. Um, well, the grant, I guess basically we'll find out on Saturday if it gets approved at town meeting or not.
Right.
Okay, and as for the restoration project update, I did leave some messages and end up talking to Tamara.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
good.
and she apparently did finish last year's project. Um, but I guess and I don't know why she just didn't call, but she didn't know the amount, what was left in the balance of what we were allocated. So she had not sent the bill yet. She has since done that. And let me see if I can open it up in the mail. Let's see. Email so I can get an idea. She sent pictures of all the stones that she did in the second
Oh, good.
half. And let's see, and she gave a whole list, her report that she normally does. Um, so the balance was 4,200. And let me see if that coincides with what we had figured. Um, Yep, because we had left in the Preserve Historic West Cemetery gravestones from the CPA funds, 3,200. And we were going to use gift restore West Cemetery gravestones. I'm not sure which gift that was. Who was? I think it was historical Friends of the Historical Committee. I'm not sure. Well, whatever one we were using with the match, it was 1,000. So that's the 4,200. She did send that. I think warrants and stuff are due for this next Monday or Tuesday, so I'm going to do them this weekend, and that will close out the first half of our project. So last or 2 years ago's CPA grant, it will close it out.
Oh, good.
So we can do our final report for them and move on, because I really wanted it closed out before we went for this, voted on this one at town meeting, but it is done. It's all closed out.
Well,
And
at least we'll have the record in the minutes that it was done before.
yes, yep, I have the invoice was dated, let's see. Hmm. Viewing it on my phone is not that easy. It doesn't. Well, let's see. When did she send the email? That will help. Come on. May 22nd. So The work was done a while ago, but it was invoiced on May 22nd. And will be paid or processed for warrants going in this week. It'll be good to have that one closed up anyways.
Yes, it will be.
And I do have, and it's in the email for the cemetery commission, the pictures and the written report of the stones and what were done to each one, so
Oh,
it
good.
should be good there.
Oh, good.
And then she's just waiting to hear from us for the next round coming
Okay.
up.
Is she going to be able to start it fairly soon, did you think?
She did not give a definite indication, but she seemed eager to get going on it. So
Oh, good.
I think
Maybe,
we're hopefully hitting her at a good spot.
good. Maybe she's in between large projects.
Right. Yeah, so that would be good.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it on that one.
Okay.
I don't know, do we want to talk about what you put together for the instructions guidelines for green natural burials, or do you want to wait till Dina's here?
I think we should wait, don't you?
Okay, yeah, I mean, was the biggest input on this, so,
Yes.
okay. All right, next, purchase of Corel Draw software. I did go ahead and purchase that, basically, they gave me a 15% discount off the package, which doesn't amount to anywhere near what I had spent on the first Corel Draw, but this is a Corel Draw subscription, so you always get the newest updates and stuff like that, and it's a whole suite of different things. That's why I decided I'd just pay for it myself, because I can probably use some of the other stuff. Um, I haven't played with it too much. I did confirm that it does open up the file that Tom sent us, and you can go in and measure things. You got to do a little extrapolation because it's done on a scale of, 1 foot equals so many, or 1 inch equals so many feet. And when you do the measuring tool, it gives it to you in inches. But if you take that and multiply, times 12 or whatever, it gives you the inch, or yeah, it'll give you, however you do it, you can actually convert it to feet. So you multiply it times how many feet per inch, and it'll give you the depths. So then we can actually mark it on there. We can add information and text and all that. So we should be able to take that now and even draw divider lines for the each plot and eventually mark where the name of each person where they're buried on each plot,
Oh,
uh,
good.
and get more accurate measurements so we know for sure where everything is. So I think it's still worthwhile that we did it because now we know not just what the map says it should be, but what it actually is,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yes.
I just got to take a little bit more time and sit down with the program and learn how to use it a little bit better.
Well, there's certainly no rush, Walter.
Oh, no, there's no rush because I'd like to do it. And obviously what I'll do is I'll open up take that file and save it to like a working file and use that so the original will stay the same and I won't mess that up. And I
Always
think
a good
I
idea.
think we'll be able to, once I get the hang of it, be able to add a lot of information to this and be able to add it as people pass away. We can go in and pop them in there and give the names and stuff. So
Oh, good. That's
I think it should be good. I think it
yeah.
was well worth it.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that?
No, but
Okay.
thanks a lot for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's the only way we're going to be able to get that. And, I can't see buying a computer and putting that program on just for the cemetery because, I mean, how often do we use the computer? Not that much. Right.
Mm.
I think we can put our money to better uses. Going right into that, we can go right into number 6, which is the current financial status.
So hang on a
Um,
second. Do I
yep.
understand that you paid for that, the Corel Draw yourself?
Yes. Yep. I purchased it. It's on my computer.
Okay, so we're not, what you, are you gonna get some cemetery commission money for that?
Um, I don't think that's right because it lives on my personal computer, and I felt we shouldn't be using town money to buy something that's going to be on my computer that I can use anytime I want. So, I bought the software. For now, at least we can use it for doing that, and maybe if we can justify getting a computer, or, a cheaper one or something like that, and put that program on, and then it lives there. So after I'm not on the commission anymore, we still have all that information. That's fine. But for now, till we can, it really proves out, I just bought it for myself and
Okay, okay,
use it for that.
okay.
All right.
Yep.
It
Thank you.
just
Thank you very,
it keeps it cleaner right now
yeah,
than saying, oh, the town spent, $228 on a program and it's on my computer and, I get to use it. So it just doesn't make sense. I think that's can't even be a violation of ethics and stuff. So
okay. So the
I
thought is
just as
essentially,
soon not do it.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So I did just a little calculation, at least for our expenses.
Yeah,
We had started the year out at $1,631.00, and up until this point, we haven't spent anything. Um, so take the warrant out that I did the other week. So I did need to get a new battery for the large mower, which was 56.95. I went down to Devon Lane Power Equipment and got, let's see, got the list of things here. Um, I had ordered blades for the small mower. They were back ordered. They are in now, but that wasn't in this total. I got a set of blades for the large mower. We got an oil filter, three oil filters. I think one for the small mower and two for the big mower. Because we still had one for the small mower. I got a bunch of oil, and I bought a new set of chainsaw chaps because the ones that we had bought before that were in the shed got eaten up by mice, and they were so dirty and disgusted and chewed up, I just threw them away. They were unsafe to use. So
okay, so
that was
I'm sorry, what are these called? This is
they're chaps, chainsaw chaps. So you wear them on your
CHAPS?
leg. Yeah, chainsaw chaps,
Okay,
CHAPS.
okay, gotcha. What does it
And
do?
you wear them on your legs, so when you're using a chainsaw, it
You
protects
don't,
your legs. So
okay,
they're got the fibers and Kevlar and stuff in there. So if you hit your leg with the chainsaw, it stops the chainsaw instantly and doesn't cut your legs. And
very,
I'm a very big advocate of wearing chaps and a helmet when you're using a chainsaw.
yes, I would think
So
that would
if
be smart.
Yep, so
So
if
they
we have a
really are,
chainsaw, which we
yeah,
do, we have chaps.
okay, good.
Yeah. So that bill came to $298.35. And then I do have the Home Depot slip here too. Um, I bought a small plastic toolbox basically to put the chaps in and
Okay.
maybe some other stuff because it needed something to put the chaps in so they didn't get eaten by the mice. I got another set of earmuffs, like I had said before, some WD-40, some starting fluid, some carbon choke cleaner, um, 100-foot line reel, which is just a string for helping lay out the lots, 25-foot tape measure, and then the 300-foot long tape for measuring out. And that all came to, well, let's see, can't charge sales tax, was 123.09. So those three came to 478.39, which left us a balance then of $1,152.61. Um, the blades came in at Devon Lane. I haven't gotten down to pick them up, but they should come in at a total of $143.52. And then I had ordered some other parts, which just came in today in the mail for the big mower. There are clips that hold covers on. There was one that's missing. And basically the cover just has been staying there by gravity, which is not really good. That was $40.15 for two clips. And of course, the biggest cost of that was shipping, which leaves us a total of $968.94 in our operating account or cemetery expenses account.
Okay, I don't think we need to list every single thing you bought, do
Oh,
you?
no, 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 no.
Oh,
I'm just giving you the numbers so understand where it all went.
okay. So I just have a real quick question about the battery. Was that included in the 298.32 or was that
No,
separate?
that was separate. That was 56.95.
Okay, you did tell me that. I just had it in
Yeah.
a I had it in a separate column.
No, no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
So that's what's left in like I said, in the operating account.
Oh,
Um, I have put in some for wages, and I've got another one to put in um, this time around too. So I'm not sure exactly where we're going to stand with that. I haven't figured that out yet. But Carl's got a bunch of hours in, and I had about 5 hours in on Sunday. Um, I actually went down. I went to put the fire department flags on all the graves because that hasn't been done for the last couple of years, and I got Lenny's permission to go do that this year. So I did that, and then I went down to the Pratt Corner Road Cemetery, and I thought, and Carl had been down there to mow it, but he didn't have any time left before he was leaving for the long weekend. So I said, I'll just bring the backpack blower down, we'll blow some leaves. I'm sure there's some leaves there. Well, after about an hour and a half of blowing leaves with the backpack blower, I wasn't even
ooh,
halfway done. And I
ooh.
said, yeah, this isn't working so well because they were so heavy. So I came back up and got the big walk behind Billy Goat blower and got it down there and spent another 3.5, 4 hours getting the place cleaned up. Um, so it still needs a little bit more work. I was going to let things dry and then go back at some point with the small blower and just do a final cleanup. But for the most part, it looks like somebody's taking care of it at least.
Oh, good.
Um, Although I did get a report from two sources that a tree fell down right across the entrance to the cemetery. So I got to go down and take a look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it happened sometime after Sunday evening, between Sunday evening and yesterday morning. So it's apparently a fairly good sized tree. One person said, "Well, it's not that big, but it's big enough that you need a chainsaw to cut it." And the other person said, "A huge tree fell across." So I'm not sure which it is,
Okay.
but we will find out.
Wow. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing both those things, Walter. Putting
Well, I mean,
flag.
I feel a little bit better now spending my, Sunday on the holiday weekend doing that I get paid a little bit for doing it. So But it really, for the Memorial Day, it had to be cleaned up. It just looked terrible.
So thank you.
So while we're still with that, with current financial status and equipment service and maintenance, oh, I guess we'll jump into the service equipment maintenance update, unless there's more you want right the moment for finance. It's gonna play into the next one too, if so we
No, I
kind
don't
of
think so. I think you're going to be reporting on on wages at the next meeting or in a
yes,
future
yeah,
meeting. Yeah, so
yep,
that,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so equipment service maintenance updates. I did do service on both the mowers, the small mower and the big mower. We went completely through those. You know, put the new battery in. The mice had gotten into the big mower again, and
Oh,
there was just mouse nests all inside the motor, which is a little disheartening, but I got it all cleaned out. And did the oil change and filter change, cleaned everything up, lubed everything, new blades on everything, on all the mowers, and spent some time just figuring out all the belts to make sure we have spare belts for everything. And we do now. We have at least one spare belt for each position on the mowers. Each mower has a total of four different belts on it.
good heavens.
Yeah, there's one on the deck itself. There's one that goes from the motor to the hydraulic drive. There's one that goes from the motor to a intermediate pulley, and then one from the intermediate pulley up to the deck. So yeah, there's four belts on each one, and we do have spares for all of them now. Um, so that was all done, and pretty much that was the maintenance I had done so far. I do have the big Billy Goat blower here. I dropped it off at the house when I got done on Sunday because I want to do an oil change on it because it hasn't been done for a little while. Um, so make sure that's still in good shape. Um, but everything else seems to be running and working fine. Um, the last thing I was gonna bring up for a use of some of the money that's left in the expense account is now that we have, a true representation of where things are in the cemetery, where the road should be, plus we have the pins that the last company that we had do the surveying did. Um, what I'd like to do is make some pins that go in the ground to facilitate measuring a lot, make it a lot easier, more time efficient, and also for when, again, I'm not doing it, it will make it easier for other people to do this. And basically, it's just half-inch iron pipe with a large washer welded onto it. Cut the pipe cut to like 2 feet long, driven in the ground so the washer keeps it at ground level, so nothing's sticking up for the mowers to hit. But with the washer, it keeps the pipe from just disappearing into the grass and spending time trying to find it. And putting those on each side of the road, of each road at the zero, probably the 100 and the 200 mark, or, 100 and 150 mark on each side. And then one, so there'd be one of those on each road, and then one in the middle of on the zero line, the baseline for measuring the middle part of the lots. And I did figure out how many it was going to take. And doing it in this section and the new section, which would get rid of the pipes that are sticking up out of the ground, between 18 inches and a foot, that are a danger and a tripping hazard and make it hard to mow. We need about 75 of those stakes. So I did a pricing of materials, and if my notes here are right, and if I can read them right, it looks like it's going to be about $475 or so. Actually, probably a little bit more, for all the materials to make those steaks. I am willing to, take the time to weld everything up, and paint them. I did something very similar here at my house for my snow steaks as a kind of as a precursor test for if these would work. And they've
Mhm.
been in the ground for a couple of years now. They stay right at the right height. They seem to work fine. They're easy to find, so I would say these would probably work, but I just wanted to get, approval of the commission to spend the money to buy the materials to make these. And it's just the reason for doing it is to make it easier for myself and whoever in the future for actually measuring out for for selling grave sites, for laying out grave sites for burials and headstones and all that,
I
rather
think
than a lot of stringing lines and measuring and putting temporary stakes in and all that other stuff.
I think that's a great idea, Walter. Are you going to, I hope you're going to pay yourself for the labor of,
Yeah, I'll keep track of it and pay myself for at least some of it. Yes.
okay, good.
Yeah. And the project doesn't have to be done by this fiscal year, but I need to, I figure we buy the materials this year.
Sure, they'll just go up in price inevitably.
Yes. Yep. So I would say let's see. I gotta get more of these at 22. Let me do a quick calculation here. It's gonna be probably around, I'm looking here about 585, between 550 and $590 for all the materials.
Okay.
Kind of expensive, but they're gonna last for a long time.
Well, it's
And
certainly
it'll,
worthwhile and we have the money for it.
yeah, and I always am nervous about those pipes sticking out and somebody tripping on them and getting hurt, or worse yet, falling right onto one and
Yeah,
getting impaled by them or something like that. And they are a pain to mow around, and sometimes they don't get seen and get knocked over and bent, and it's just, been wanting to do this for a while, but now I think I can probably have the time to actually do it. Now that we've got everything where we know where everything is, where the roads are, not where they're supposed to be, but where they actually are,
yeah.
I feel this is a time to do it.
Yes, I remember you talking about this before. Yeah, and
Yep.
I sounds like an ideal time to do it.
Right. That's what I thought, at least to get the materials and get the project started.
Yeah, exactly. So would you like to
Okay.
make a motion?
Sure. You want
Motion,
me to make the motion? Okay, you can go ahead.
motion to approve Walter Tibbetts purchasing the materials to make road marker lot measurement pins.
Okay.
Is that what is
Uh,
that fit the need?
yeah, and we can say, to be safe, a sum not to exceed $600. How's that?
Okay, not to exceed $600. Okay,
All right, I'll second the motion.
good.
I think we've discussed it enough,
Oh,
but if you have any questions,
right. Nope.
okay. All right, we'll do a roll call vote then. Susan
Aye.
and Walter votes aye also. Okay, good. I can get some of that stuff ordered up. The
Yeah,
washers they're 3-inch washers with a 1/2 inch hole, and they're a 1/4 inch thick. So they are good, substantial material. They're not going to rust away and be gone in a couple of years. So
good.
they are a little expensive, but they're definitely a good solid washer.
You want the quality to last.
Yes, that's the thing is, and I looked, I went to a bunch of different suppliers to try to find them, and there was only one that had really, and I bought these before for doing some stuff, and they really worked out well. So
Good,
I think,
good.
okay. So that's it on equipment service, maintenance updates, and financial status kind of rolled into one.
Right. Plus a new
So
business.
that would leave us with, still around $368 or so. Um, which there may be something that comes up in the meantime. Like I did not get, I forgot to get a small sledgehammer for driving in pins and things like that. So, there's still a few little things that of tools that I've been using on my own that could, you know, if we replace them, then they're at the cemetery. Anybody can use them. If I'm happen to not be here and Carl needs to mark out a grave or something like that, or you guys need to, measure one out so to show people where they are to sell it, if the stuff's at my house, it's pretty hard for anybody to do anything with. So
Yeah, true.
this way, it's right there in the Hearst house. Everybody has access to it,
Yeah,
and it
that's
can be done. Trying to
yeah.
get away from having everything at my house and using all my stuff. So,
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
yeah.
Now, next on the agenda then is other unfinished business.
Well, Walter, it looks like we went into new business because we just talked about A, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to see that I even put that down there. I probably should have waited, sorry.
That's
But we
okay.
did. We did jump into new business, and I didn't even think about that. Sorry.
No problem.
All
So do
right.
we have unfinished business?
I was just gonna look through the minutes of the highlighted projects and okay, Walter will put agenda for May, our next steps for the mapping project, which I really didn't do. Contacted Tamara and the list for parks. Okay, so I guess I have nothing else right now.
Okay. And
Do
I
you
think
have anything?
I was supposed to do. I don't think I was supposed to do anything besides contact Patrick.
Right, that's what it looks like. Yep. Okay, so yep. So I have already talked about new business A.
Mm-hmm.
I should have looked at my own agenda. All right. B, person possibly interested in being groundskeeper for the Pratt Corner Road Cemetery. So I was approached by a woman that lives on Pratt Corner Road. I think she lives in the Leverett section. She has a grave in, because she did at the time she did live in Shutesbury. She has a grave site, family grave site in the Pratt Corner Road Cemetery.
Okay.
Her parents are buried there in a separate lot, and her husband is buried there. Um, and we talked about it a year or two ago, but she really wasn't sure whether she wanted to do anything or not. And she did approach me again just a little while ago, and we were kind of playing phone tag and text tag for a while. But the other day I did call her, or she called me back, and we talked about it. And she is kind of interested. She wasn't really sure how much it was going to take. But as I explained to her, that cemetery, I mean, mostly the ground cover is moss and small ground plants that don't grow very high. And there are those, I forget what kind of orchids they are that Dina had talked about
Oh,
last year.
they're rare.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, and I told her like there is some grass there, but some of it is just little thin pieces that grow up above everything else, and just going through with a weed whacker, maybe twice a year would be sufficient. I said we usually do, when we're being good, we only visit that cemetery 3 times a year. Once in the spring for spring cleanup, once so in the middle of the summer to do some trimming, and then fall cleanup. Um, so she felt happy with that, and she felt like if she went there and did a little bit of, like even in the fall, a little bit of thing with the leaves every once in a while, and keep ahead of it, it wouldn't be such a big task, and it would be something that she would be interested in. I told her, to do that, she would have to be hired by the town, and then she could get paid then. Um, but that covers us by being an employee. I told her it's a little bit of a process, not a terrible process, but it's a process nonetheless. So um, she was possibly going to sit in on the meeting tonight, but I haven't seen her pop up in the waiting room. So
Hmm.
apparently she wasn't able to make it. Um, her name is, I should say that her name is Elizabeth Sheffy.
Sheffy.
Just a second, and I will confirm that. Yeah, Scheffey.
Okay, try it slower again.
All
Okay.
right, Scheffey.
Oh, okay. Got it.
First name Elizabeth. Yeah.
Got it.
So she seemed pretty interested and felt like it wasn't going to be overbearing or anything. So seeing she didn't make tonight's meeting, I will be in touch with her, and if she is really interested, I'll give her the job description. And basically it's that, and if she wants that, I'll have to fill out the personnel action form and submit that, and that gets signed by the personnel board and the select board, and once that's done, then she's officially a employee, and she can start working. I mean, she said she had her own, this is the only thing I'm not exactly sure about. She has her own mower and her own weed whacker and leaf blower, and she lives right down by there. I guess it really doesn't make a lot of sense to, have her drive up to the center of town, get equipment, haul it back there,
It
use
does.
it, bring it back, and then go home.
Yeah.
I'm just a little unsure about having people use their own personal equipment to do work for the cemetery commission. So
Why don't you ask whoever would know? Would that be Gail Weiss?
yeah, I can ask Gail, or because I don't know if the new town administrator would know that as of yet or not. So
Quite possibly not.
yeah,
But it would be
yep,
something good for her to learn about.
right. And it'd be a good introduction for me to her. I have not met her yet. So
Oh yeah, she's a neat person.
Haley, Haley, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Haley Bolton, I believe.
Okay.
I sat next to her at a conference,
Okay.
so I got to meet her.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for what little it is, and then she said, well, she can cut branches and stuff like that. But she said, but I'm not going to use a chainsaw. And she said, what do I do if a tree does come down? I said, well, just let us know, and either Carl or myself will go down there with a chainsaw and cut it up. I said, I'm not going to ask you to do something you're not trained to do, you feel unsafe to do, it's beyond your means. So
Yeah, that's
with
good.
that, she felt pretty good about that.
Good.
And it would just alleviate Carl from having to go down there on, the little maintenance stuff. And, if we need to do a big push in the fall for a fall cleanup, well, then we'll do it. Between him and I, we'll help her out and do it. Uh,
Yeah.
but he did get down to the Lox Pond Road Cemetery and mow and leaf blow and clean that up. So he got that looking good.
Oh, good.
I believe. I haven't been down there to see it, but he did spend some time doing that.
Well, always seems to be stuff to do down there.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It is one of those things that if you get ahead of it, it's not that much work. It's when it gets neglected for a while that it gets to be a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
Items not anticipated 48 hours prior to the meeting. I have none. Do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Next is set date for the next meeting. So that's going to be June 3rd Wednesday would be the 18th.
Okay.
Is that good for you?
Yeah, that's fine for me.
Okay. June 18th at 6 o'clock. All right. Very good.
Okay.
And so make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So are you making the motion?
I'll make the motion. You can second.
Oh.
Yeah.
I second it.
Okay. And we'll do a roll call vote. Susan,
Aye.
Walter votes aye also. Okay. And I'm going to open this window back up to full and stop the recording.
Says 7:06 on my end. 7:07 now.
Okay. I have 7:07 too. We'll do it at 7:07.